Do you guys ever get like songs stuck in your head, but you have no idea where you heard them? Like, I don't know. I did not write this. I couldn't have. It's such a ridiculous song. So, in the land of let's pretend there lived a kangaroo rooster. Half of him was kangaroo, the other half was rooster. Like, that is just on repeat in my head. It's ridiculous. I don't know where it came from, and it's starting to get on my nerves. Okay, it's Pan Those Eyeshadows update 4. Yes. We're just going to go with it. If it's not 4, then it's not 4, and you'll see it in the title. But I'm just going to say it's update 4. So, here was the color story that we have been working on. So, this is from the ColourPop Sweet Talk palette. It's the shade ICYMI. And then underneath it is also from the Sweet Talk palette, and it is the shade Melody. No, I'm lying to you. Underneath it is the shade, it's from a Pat McGrath Labs little 6-pan like mini palette. It's the shade Listen. This third shade is Melody from the Sweet Talk palette. This shade right here is from the ColourPop Nude Mood palette, and it is the shade Put On Airs. And then underneath it is the Super Shock shadow from that palette as well, called Wink Wink. So I really was enjoying this color story this month. I did have like a few days where like I did my makeup twice, just because, hello, we're all at home, so why not just play with makeup? So let's just get into it. You know, I don't know, I kind of lost my train of thought. I'll just keep rolling. So I'm going to start with the shade that got the least amount of use. And thankfully, one good thing was that all of these were magnetic pans, so I was able to just put them in this little guy and have that like on my vanity and not like clutter it up so much. But anyway, the shade Put On Airs from the Nude Mood palette, that got rolled in last time, and I only used it one time this month. I'm not that mad at it. I just was focusing on some of the other shades. Like, it's been, you know, it's getting into springtime and things like that, and some of these other shades just felt more like what I was wanting to like reach for. But yeah, I have no worries that we will hit pan, but yeah, one use, that's it. I'm proud of myself that I at least used it one time. So then we have the next shade would be, let's see, ICYMI, the matte red from the Sweet Talk palette. I only used it 4 times this month, but that makes for a total of 16 times in all. And I don't know if you can tell, I think there is a bit of a dip on it forming. You know, I can see it in person. I just don't know how well it's going to translate on camera. Honestly, I think that this shade is going to hit the 45 use mark and we will roll it out rather than like hitting pan on it. It's so like pigmented. I hate saying that because I feel like everyone says that about every eyeshadow, but it really is. And so like such a little bit goes a long way. And also when I wear it, I typically, sorry, that was my phone. I typically only wear it like in my like outer V. Jasper, can you quit scratching the carpet? You ain't gonna dig nowhere under there. I only use this like really in my outer V. That's the way I've found to wear it that I like it. So using just that small amount of it, like I don't foresee us hitting pan. I don't think their mattes are like very hardly pressed. They're not like super powdery like LORAC or ABH, but they're not like a Too Faced shadow either. So maybe we'll hit pan by the 45 mark, but I just don't foresee it happening. The next one I use, let's see, here is the shade, it's the Super Shock shadow, Wink Wink, from the Put On Airs palette as well. I used this a total of 7 times this month, so 7 times in all since it just got rolled in last month. It's kind of weird. It's like, I don't know if you can tell, but like here around the corners, so like when I use my finger to apply it, I definitely try to like, you know, move it around like the whole pan. And I do think you can tell at the bottom, like there is a dip forming, I guess, just like, you know, if you're not paying attention, like you're gonna naturally go to the same place, I feel like. But anyway, my point is that it's not dry, but it's started to almost like crumble out of the pan. And so when that happens, like I do like pick up those pieces and like use those, so I'm not just like blowing it away. but it is kind of interesting. I don't know if that's like a sign that it's getting ready to like dry out, since it is kind of crumbling, but I am really enjoying that shade. I don't typically like to wear it as like my all over the lid shade. I really just like it as a topper, and that's one thing that I have found. To me, there's a difference in the Super Shock shadows that they like put in their palettes versus like the traditional ones in like the little white screw top packaging. The traditional ones I feel like work really well as like lid shades. The ones in the palettes, I feel like they're more like topper shades. I don't know. If you feel that way too, let me know. But then the next shade that we had in here was the shade, let's see, Melody from the Sweet Talk. Sorry, I'm like trying to look down and I'm blind as a bat and I'm trying to read it. But Melody here. So this has been in, not since the beginning. This came in during the February update. So this past month, I have used it 8 times for a total of 17 times within this project, and we have pan on it. I absolutely love this shade. It was such a fun like springtime, that's not the shade, this one. It was such a fun like springtime shade. It's like an orange with like, or it's like a pink with like an orange flip to it. It's just so pretty. I really foresee myself, I'll probably still from time to time in these months like pull this out to wear it, but I am really happy to have hit pan. I'm surprised the pans on this are not like as deep as I thought they would be. And I started using a brush to apply this just because I've gotten kind of nervous on using my fingers to apply shimmer shades ever since the honey shade from the Urban Decay Naked Honey palette kind of started to get hard pan when I would use my fingers. So I've just switched to using a brush, and I think that that honestly helps you hit pan faster if you're using a brush, but that's okay. It's okay. It's not cheating. It's just a makeup tool. So the last shade in here that we will talk about right now is the shade Listen from the Pat McGrath little 6-pan palette. And so this one has been in since the beginning, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it has. It's been in since we started this all the way back in December. I struggled with this shade just because it's not a bad shade. Like, it's not like I hated it. It wasn't what I wanted. So like having to use it was a bit of a struggle, but like the looks that it did with it were really pretty. I really liked to pair it with the pink and purple Orchid and Wisteria from my LORAC Mega Pro 1 palette, and then I would usually top off like a glitter on top of it, to be honest. But anyway, this past month I used this shade 14 times because I was determined. It's dark, and you guys can tell, like, it's dark. It's a dark kind of like pink purple shade. I was just kind of over it. Like, it's getting warmer. Like, it's not a lid shade that I want to use. So I really went ham on it. So that means that we used this shade 21 times in total, and we do have pan on it. And I will say, with these Pat McGrath Lab shades too, what I was noticing was when I would use my finger to apply it, that the shadow kind of like crumbled off into huge chunks. And so, like, I don't know if you can tell, but like around the edges, I'm sure you can see like some, it looks like gouging, but that's just where like the chunks would fall out. So as soon as I switched to a brush again, like I didn't notice that, at least with this particular shade. So just to kind of maybe keep that in mind. But yeah, I am so happy that we get to roll out 2 new shadows, or bring in 2 new shadows. I really think that's exciting. Like, I am looking for a refresher, essentially. Just, you know, keep it fun and interesting. Like, so I'm ready to go. Anyway, so I have the numbers 1 through 26 listed in on Pretty Random, and we will just go. So we get number 3 and number 8. Okay, let me pull that up and I will tell you what palettes those are. 3 is a magnetic palette that I have that is mostly full of ColourPop singles. It's the 26mm pans. And then number 8 is my LORAC Pro 4 palette. Okay, so we'll be right back. Okay, so after looking at my LORAC Mega Pro 4, there's not a whole lot left in here. I do have like an end goal to finish this palette off by the end of the year, like working on it like behind the scenes. It's not that I wouldn't mind to throw it into this, but most of the shades in here, so Spice is off the table because it's going to be far too close to the In Case You Missed It shade. Mocha is like just a standard brown color you can see, and I have so many of those right now in my actual Pan That palette. And then the 4 shimmers that are left, I'm actually looking into frankening and helping my LORAC Mega Pro 1, some of the shades in there perform a little bit better. So I'm actually going to take this off the list since there is just like so few, and so I have like other plans for this essentially. So we're going to re-roll another palette. So it'll still be the single like magnetic palette from ColourPop. There are some other shades in there. I just called it the ColourPop single palette because it was easy for me to remember. But we will re-roll another number together. So number 23. Let's see what palette that is. That is, oh, that'll be a good one. It's one that I haven't used yet, and you guys will see in just a minute. So I just want to show you, 23 was the Tarte Sugar Rush BU palette. And I think about 2 months ago, I had put up a video that was like, all the eyeshadow palettes I haven't used yet. And that was in here, and guess what? Still haven't used it. I'm really happy it got rolled into this project because one of the reasons that I don't want to use it is just, it's so cute with like the little bees and the honeycombs and... Okay, are you happy, universe? I dug into it and destroyed my little cute honeycombs and everything. So there are shade names to this palette on the back, but like I can never get it right. So I think it's second row 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's Be Brilliant is the shade name, but it's like this color right here. I know it's really dark for this time of year, but it looks so interesting, like swatched out. It's right here. I think that that could be really pretty as like a very smoky lid look, which I want to venture into. I also think it could be really pretty like in the outer corner. And then I also am not against trying to use that as a transition shade. So I think that will be quite nicely. I don't know if it necessarily pairs with the rest of our palette, but that's okay. And then from the like big Z palette, just full of 26mm pans, I actually did pick a ColourPop shadow. So I have really been loving this shade lately. It's Tea Garden from ColourPop. I was playing around with it the other day, so I'm actually going to pull this one in from that palette. And so here's Tea Garden swatched out. I really think these two are going to pair so nicely together. I could see Tea Garden pairing really well with the In Case You Missed It shade. Then we also have the Wink Wink as like a topper to really transform any of them. Like, I really think this one from the Tarte palette could be interesting like as a lid shade with this on top. So it might not look that cohesive, but I do have a lot of ideas for it. And then these like grungy kind of greens have been calling my name lately, so I'm really excited. I think you can tell like Tea Garden already does have a little bit of a dip on him, but still, this pan is obviously way bigger than like what you get in your like palette from them, so we'll see how long it takes, but I'm really excited. I hope you guys are continuing to enjoying following this along. I have a lot of fun watching everyone's videos, and so yeah, sorry if it seems a bit rambly. Today is just kind of like an off day, but that is it. I will catch you guys in the next one, and hope you're having a good day or night or week or whatever. And Jappy says hello. So I will see you guys later. Bye.